little, and then the sister likes in them. So whenever the kids pick them up, they want to open them up and get that thing out. Anyway, so I got rid of them, I think, quicker that way because I put 3 pieces of candy in each one, but I still had like 20, at least 25 of those bags, plus at least 15 full-size candy bars as well. And then I left to go take my grandkids trick-or-treating every single candy.
Guys, it is 10 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started because I want to be very be respectful of your time today. We're going to have a guest today, so Jason Rasmusson and Jill Sowers with Supreme Wendy. Did I say those right?
Close enough.
Rasmusson?
Rasmusson.
Rasmusson,
yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if the U was long or.
I've actually been called Rasmusson in the airport.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I responded to that. So
okay, it works.
You nailed it.
They brought us breakfast this morning, so let's thank them for bringing us breakfast. Thank you guys very much for breakfast. Appreciate you. So we're going to hit our core value and then go into and let Jason and Jill do a little talking for us this morning. So we position our clients as the heroes and strive to add value as their guides. Our job is to serve our clients and ultimately do what is in their best interest. Our interests are secondary to theirs, and we communicate in a way that places their needs and wants at the center. At the same time, we're always looking for ways to make someone's experience better and constantly add more value. We are never content with where we are at from a value perspective, but working to increasingly add to what we can offer and wow our clients. I hope that some of the things that you're getting from Simple Steps, Small Steps, Big Results, are add to that. That's the whole point, part of the point of why I wanted to put it together, so that we can be adding value to our clients at all times. All of this, obviously, everybody here does a really good job of putting their clients' interests first. Otherwise, you wouldn't be still doing this job. That's the way. So we're going to turn it over to Jason and Jill and Spring Lindy. Jason, I want to hand you the clicker and let you do your thing.
Jill, say howdy.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jill Sowers. I'm the production manager, so I'm the creative side of the numbers. So if you guys need help with farming, marketing, all the things, I'm your girl. This is Jason, been in the business for 30 years. I've seen every market.
Long time.
So he's just going to do a little presentation over the market right now, and I'll give it over to him.
Well, the funny part is I'm probably going to piggyback on a lot of what Brian talks to you guys about on a regular basis. But so first of all, thanks for having us here. We really appreciate the opportunity. I know we've got 10 minutes, so we're going to go super quick. It was interesting listening to y'all's core values because from our perspective, the way we look at it, we're here to bring value to our partners. And that's one of the things that's the biggest thing that really drives us. And one of the ways we do it is we do a market presentation every single month for a couple of different offices. We go through and give you a little bit about updated stats, just some ideas about what's going on in the market. Our goal and our tilt on this is to help you guys with your social media marketing or your client base, to make you the expert in the marketplace, essentially. So what I wanted to do today, rather than just stand up here and tell you, hey, we're awesome, we have all these products, all these great things, is let me give you 10 minutes. I'm going to update you real fast. So we took our normal presentation, cut it down by about 65%, and we're going to go fast. So I promise we'll get you out of here on time. But I just wanted to really start with, we always kind of kick off the economic side of things. So first of all, economic news has been driving our world since 2022, right? That's the reason we're in the situation we're in today. So we always want to talk about kind of what's going on. The first one is the inflation side of things. So the Federal Reserve, which has been really attacking real estate, if you look at it from an honest perspective, they have two things they have to worry about. Inflation is one. This is the reason why real estate's been attacked for the last couple of years with rising interest rates. And then they have employment. So the good news is the inflation piece has gotten under control for the most part. You know, we started off as high as 9% on inflation, and now we've been down to as low as about 2.5, 2.3, but we're starting to creep back up. So when inflation goes up, the Federal Reserve only has one lever they can pull for the most part. That's raise interest rates. So this is the reason why our rates have been higher for a while. But they also have to worry about hiring. Now, there's two different forms of hiring reports that come out each month. The official government one is on hiatus because they're closed, right? So the only other one, and actually, to be honest with you, the one with the better information is the ADP report. ADP takes all the private payroll data that they get each month, and they compile a report and tell us what's going on in the labor market. Well, you can see it's been going down. In fact, this is job creation. We've had 3 months out of the last 4 where we had job losses. Officially, they announced today's, by the way, about an hour ago, so I couldn't read it in the presentation, and we had a slight increase. So we'll call it 3 out of the last 5 months we've had drops, but even the months we've had increases have been relatively small. This is now taking over the Fed floor. This is what's going to get real estate somewhat healthy in the next probably 6 to 12 months, because when the Fed looks at employment and they have a problem with this, the only lever they can pull is to drop interest rates. And they've now decided they're way more worried about this than they are the inflation rate. So they're going to watch both of them, but ultimately this is going to drive our space for probably the next year or so. Now, what does that mean to us? Well, it means interest rates really moving, and that's what we care about. So I know it's kind of hard to see here, but this is basically a chart of what interest rates have done for the last, I think this goes back actually 6 months, if I'm not mistaken. Essentially, all you need to know about this is green is good, red is bad, right? But the thing is, when we watch these interest rates, we really watch this little trend line because it tells us where rates are headed. And essentially what happens, I know it's really small, but if everything needs to get to the middle line, you see, right? So if we are down here in an oversold condition, that means rates are probably a little bit too high and they need to come back up. And if we go overbought, that means rates are probably too low and they need to come back. So what's happening right now is you can see we were sitting in the high fives before the Fed Reserve decision. That's typical. We usually get a little bit out over our skis on interest rates and they drop a little faster than normal right into the decision and then they trickle back up. So now we've seen rates move back into the low sixes. So the official interest rate as of yesterday was 6.34. But at the end of the day, we're seeing still about 6 and 8 on our side. The thing that we care about on this, and the reason I bring it to your attention, is because the last 3 Januaries, rates have dropped down to about 6.25 from the high sixes in those Januaries, and the buyers have gone bonkers. You guys remember that? You talk about it, like we'll boost all of a sudden. So if we get bonkers boost at 6.25, can you imagine what happens this January if we get up to 5s? And one of the things that we have to understand is in order for us to be successful at that January, we have to be working now. So we're really encouraging our agents, our referral partners to get out there and do whatever you need to do to get ready for the first quarter, because we think you're going to have a nice little pop. And if rates were to stay in the high fives for the whole first quarter, we'd have a really nice buying season come up. So we think we have some opportunities on the horizon. All right, purchase money. These are actually purchase money apps. You can see that they're not great. They've been low for quite some time. But the thing that we always like to point out on this is essentially apps are at their bottom right now for purchases, which means we only have up to go, right? And at the end of the day, we've got 2 things we'll show you, this being one of them, and then existing home sales that are at their historical lows, which means that we always bounce off of these levels. So we know we have pent-up demand sitting in the marketplace. So again, what's it going to take to move that demand? We think the lower interest rates will help a little bit. The other thing we're starting to see finally is that prices aren't going up quite as fast, which helps from an affordability standpoint. And if we can get a little bit of relief on the tax and insurance side, we think we have a nice little spark to get the market moving basically. All right, we always throw in a couple of interesting real estate things for you, interesting real estate news. So the first one is, did you know that actually it takes $100,000 worth of income to afford the average home in the United States right now? The average sales price is $357,000. And if you put down 20%, you need to make $100,000 to afford that. This affordability issue is part of what's driving real estate right this moment and what's keeping it back.
Yeah,
Now,
that's fire stuff at 20% down.
Yeah, they do.
Correct. And by the way, the average income for a household is only $83,000, $17,000 too low. So, all right, we look at this and go, all right, well, what's the net effect of that? Well, the net effect is that the first-time buyer market is having a hard time getting going. First-time buyers usually account for about 35+% of the market. Right now, they're in the low 20s. That's the affordability thing that we're running into. So this right here, if we can get them going on this, if the affordability piece comes back in line, it also allows the next time move-up buyers to go ahead and sell their homes and do their thing, right? Which means that the whole market starts to move a little bit better. So this is definitely something we've been watching for a while now. The good news is, as bad as this slide looks, it's way better. This number was 110 to 115 about 6 months ago. So it's coming back in line as we're starting to see a few things unfold. Interest rates going down will help that, by the way. All right, by the way, don't let the headlines scare you. There is a ton of headlines there about foreclosures doubling, going up 100%, 50% year over year. All of that is malarkey. It doesn't mean anything. So foreclosures typically average, or what we call distress sales, 3 to 4% per given market. We're at 2. So we're still way under our historical norm, but we're up from 1 point something, which is why you're seeing the news get a hold of that. So don't get too worried about it. Ultimately, we're still really good shape on the distress sales side. All right, this is the other thing I wanted to point out to you. Remember I said interest rates themselves, purchase applications being low means there's a lot of pent-up demand. Here's the other piece of that. So when we look at existing home sales only, over time, we average 5.3 million home sales per year. Right now, we're only sitting on 4 million. So we're under our market average for the last 30 plus years. So we know we've got pent-up demand there because ultimately that $4 million number, or that 4 million units needs to come up. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. Every year, we have what's called household formation in the United States of 2 million households. What that means is there's 2 million new households that come online that need housing. That can be kids graduating from college and moving out. It can be multi-generational families splitting up and going different directions. It can be divorces. It can be a lot of things. 2 million people need to buy a house. Now, some of them will rent, right? But a lot of them will buy. We still have 2 million household formations each year, even though the last 3 years we've only averaged 4 million homes actually being sold. So between that and all the people who want to move up, we have a huge amount of pent-up demand. The other thing that we see when we look at the charts on this, and I'll show you in a minute, is once you hit that 4 million unit number, that's the low end. We've always bounced back up. So we know we're at the bottom. We know we have a lot of pent-up demand, and now we're just waiting for that spark to kind of get things going. All right, a couple of quick things. This JBREC is a culmination of like 250 economists and think tanks and whatnot. They're starting to put out some of their forecasts. The good news is, and I think they're a little light here, they are forecasting each of the next 3 years. 3% total, so over a 3-year span, about a 10% total rise. We actually think, and a lot of our other economists are watching this saying, we probably go up 7 or 8% just next year. So I think this number is probably a little conservative, but the good news is everybody's planning on those numbers going up. So again, for those of us who are still standing in this room, that's a big deal because what's the percentage of realtors that have either gotten out of business or are not in production from, let's say, just from 21?
87.
It's, yes, Brian, you probably know the exact number.
It's about 78%.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's high 70s, low
Wait a
80s,
minute.
which is a massive number, right? That's massive.
4, 6, 9, 4, carry the 6.
Exactly. So the good news is, as the business comes back, there's way fewer of us to enjoy it. We're going to be busy. For the most part, we think we're going to be really busy. I'll say relatively busy in 26, super busy in 27, 8. We think 30 is going to be kind of interesting. But just looking at the historical cycle, we got 3 or 4 years.
Here.
Sorry. You good?
So the idea of thinking about 2030.
I'm sorry.
Kind of
Kind of makes me- kind of makes me
Like you're
cry.
talking about the Jetsons.
I'd say, well, so when you look at the real estate cycle, it goes in every couple of years, you see some rollover. And so there's some economic things that are going to happen in that period of time. But ultimately, we think that that's about the time frame that the market peaks and starts to roll back over a little bit. Now, does anybody really know that? Not for sure. But at the end of the day, we think we've got about 4 years in front of us to be pretty good. So for us in the room, let's just go make money, and then in 2031, we'll sit on the beach, right?
Yes.
Cool. I'm down.
I'd say 2029 with some.
2029. Okay. I'm going her. We're going to be doing it in 29. All right. So let's give you some really quick stats. So home sales from last month, we've got basically what we do is we put together about the national stat and more local. So we do the Fort Worth MSA. So any county that touches Fort Worth goes into this number. This is the official NAR report that came out last week, 4.06 million annualized sales. You can see that we've been bouncing along the bottom for a while. It's the reason we know that things are going to move up. We just don't know what it's going to take to do it. Ultimately, we hope lower interest rates and a little bit lower prices will help. If you look at month over month, though, for instance, this is September. So this is basically saying that we had 4% more home sales in September of this year than September of last year, is what that means. And what I want to point out to you is we go back 2 years plus, these are all negatives. They're all below, which means we've been lowering our home sales for each of those times. All of a sudden, we popped up for 4 months at the end of last year, and we thought, oh, well, maybe things are turning. And then we went right back down negative. Well, we're starting to do the same thing of going positive. These are the only positive months in the last 3 years. And they've all happened in the last 12-month cycle. So even though we don't feel like the market's really moving any better, it is definitely starting to show signs of life. The question is, when does it pop? So we think we get that pop in January a little bit, then we chill out in February like we normally do, and then we take off in March, is what we're anticipating. You good with that? Everybody's all right. So, last couple of things for you. So just looking at we don't have October sales data yet from the national avenues, but we do have a little bit here on the local stuff. So we think we're up about 2.5% roughly for the month of October in home sales. So again, not a big increase, but at least an increase. We're not moving in the wrong direction. And again, that's in the Fort Worth MSA. But we're also saying if you felt like it was slow and your listings aren't selling, that's true as well, because existing home sales in October were contracts written in August and September, right? Well, if we look at pending sales, so future business, that's actually down a little bit, about 4% off. Now, traditionally, this is the time of year we see that. So I'm not going to tell you that's anything particularly new. But we also feel like there's a lot of uncertainty in the market that's really driving that number even lower than it should be. So we are going to kind of keep an eye on that. But I think ultimately what you're going to see is the January is going to fix that. We're going to start to go back up in January. Quick little note on home prices. You know, when you look at this is home prices on an annualized basis, they go up and down. Don't worry about that. That's just the seasonality. What we always like to point out to everybody is this goes back to 21. Price was 354. Now we're at 415. So obviously we've made a lot of money even since 21. But more importantly, we're starting to see this line level off a little bit. It used to look like this, and now it's slowly coming back down. And what we're seeing when you look at it on a month over month is up about 2%. What's the historical average for appreciation?
3 or 4%.
Yeah.
Right, 3 to 4%. And Texas, by the way, always lags. If you guys know that or not, but in the 30 years I've been doing this, Texas has always been behind the rest of the market by about 1%, 1.5%. Now, that also makes us stable. We don't do the California thing where we're on the giant roller coaster, right? So interestingly enough, Texas kind of led that charge during the last little boom that we had. And so we're waiting to see if that roller coaster comes through. What I think is going to happen, what Texas normally does when we go bonkers, like if you go back in history to the late 80s, you saw a big increase, or actually mid to late 80s. Typically when we get out a little bit too high, we go flat for a while. We had about a decade of flat appreciation in Texas. So basically the two ways we can correct being overpriced, you can go down the roller coaster or you can go flat for several years. If you go down, it's quick, but it's painful. And if you go flat for several years, it's not too bad. So I think we're going to go flat ultimately. Now, whether that's 1 or 1.5%, I'm not going to say necessarily 0, but we think we'll probably kind of level out a little bit. All right, last couple things for you. So here's the Fort Worth numbers for the Fort Worth MSA for October, basically flat, about 0.5% in appreciation. So not a big number. That kind of goes along with what we just talked about. And then we get into housing inventory. So the good news, the headline news is housing inventory is at its highest level in 5 years. Now, I'll ask you guys, is it quality inventory?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So I think that's the misnomer. Everybody's talking about this, but I don't think the quality's just there yet. Here's the thing though, what we teach everybody is that the inventory piece is the foundation for our recovery, right? Inventory is what drives everything. Because as you have more inventory, just think about everybody involved. Sellers feel better about being able to sell their home and find their next one, right? That's one of the biggest reasons our sellers are holding off right now. They can't find another house. The buyers want to get back in the marketplace because they have more choices and options. Inventory also keeps prices from going bonkers. It doesn't have to suppress them, but it definitely keeps them from going nuts. So if we get more inventory, overall the market gets a little bit healthier is kind of what we're looking at. Now, if you look at active listings for the month of October for the Fort Worth MSA, we're actually flat, off less than 1%. What's interesting to me is you can see this whole blue line, we've been higher all year than we were the last 3 years in inventory. We've got a really nice build up on the inventory side. And one thing that I cut out of this presentation is anything Dallas based. Dallas has had a huge run up. Their inventory numbers have run up about 35% year to date, above what they were last year. We've been lagging behind just a little bit. But you see this little turn down, that's the thing I'm a little bit worried about because I don't want that inventory number to shrink underneath where it has been. I'm hearing for y'all, and you guys kind of confirm if this is right or wrong, is that because stuff has been sitting, a lot of people are starting to take them off the market and either put them into rentals or just chill on it a little bit.
Yep.
So I think what you're seeing right now is just frustrated sellers. And yes, that could mean it's a little slower between now and then. Full disclosure. But every seller that I know that has pulled theirs off the market, or if we look at our contingent contracts that haven't sold, their comment is, we're just going to throw it back on in January or February and it's going to move. So I think you're going to see again a little bit of a pop as we get into the first quarter of people expecting a little bit better movement next year. Of course, weeks of supply, 22 weeks, which means that we're sitting on basically a 5-month supply of inventory. Everybody says a balanced market is what? 4 to 6 months? I'm kind of changing that narrative. Yeah, I think it's a buyer's market personally. Now, I want to tell you it's pocketed, right? There's definitely some pockets where it's probably still a little bit tilted toward the seller side. But for the most part, we think 4 to 6 is now full. So at 4 months, you're kind of even. If you get to 5 months, you're in a buyer's market for the most part. And as you grow more into that, then it becomes more and more of a buyer's market. So that's what we're seeing overall. And that's kind of where we're at right now. The Dallas side, by the way, was at like 27 weeks. So they're officially over that 6-month mark. A lot more inventory to choose from, but they're officially over that. All right, let's wrap up on interest rates. So yesterday it was 6.34. 6.33 officially is what you're seeing on a national scale. This number, by the way, that we give you comes from a service called, well, actually, it comes from a website called Mortgage News Daily. You guys follow that? A lot of people do. Okay. Where Mortgage News Daily gets their data is from a program called Optimal Blue. Optimal Blue locks 70% of all the locks in the United States every day. Bankers, brokers, doesn't matter. Optimal Blue, 70% of it, including our company as well. So when you, and that Mortgage News Daily gets that updated feed from Optimal Blue every single day. So if you really want to know what's going on in the marketplace, just go check out Mortgage News Daily. They have an app on your phone as well, and it'll give you real interest rates. So we're seeing 6.33 is the average rate as of yesterday. We've been locking people, as I mentioned, about 6 and an 8 with a handful of 5.99s in there. So we've been a little bit under market. But here's the last piece of the puzzle. Well, where do we think rates are going to go? This is full year interest rate average. So from January to December. So even though rates are lower than 6.6 right now, that's what the 25 average looks like. This is again that J Brett group. So they think rates are going to go down to 6, 6.1, and 6.3 over the next couple of years. I'll tell you right now, I think that number's too high. I think we're going to be underneath that 6 number for a couple of different reasons. But what I care about, what I'm watching is this breakdown. So what these two different boxes mean. The first one, the blue one, is the 10-year treasury, which is what actually drives mortgage interest rates, by the way. Not the Federal Reserve, not anything else in the market. It's 99% this. And then there's the spread. So basically, Wall Street puts a spread, or the mortgage market puts a spread on top of that 10-year treasury, and that's got to cover profitability, expenses, the whole ball of wax. That spread has averaged 1.75% over history. During COVID, it got as high as 3.25 once rates started going up because of uncertainty. When you have uncertainty in the marketplace, the spread goes up. When you have risk, the spread goes up. Well, we think, so that spread today, by the way, I think I took that slide out. I did. So this is my last slide. So the spread today is about 2.2. So it's come down a lot, but it's not down to the 175. We think it's going to land somewhere, and I personally think 190 to 200 is kind of where I think it's going to land. And if you look at it, their forecasts are saying basically 1.9. All right, long-winded answer to say, here's why you care about this. When the Federal Reserve moves rates, we get 20% of what he does max. If he moves a full point, we're going to say 0.2 in the mortgage space, maybe. But this is dollar for dollar. So every dollar that spread comes down is $1 off interest rate. Or think about it this way, if the spread goes from 2 to 1.99, rates went down 0.1 as well. Same thing for the 10-year treasury. So as these two things come down, rates come down to match them, and they move very quickly. The reason we got into the upper 5s is because the 10-year treasury dipped into the upper 390s, and it hadn't been below 4 in forever. And the spread came down to about 2.11. And so all of a sudden, boom, you have 5.875 and 5.99 interest rates. That just happened. Even though it's rolled back up a little bit, it just happened. So we know both these things are going to come down. Both, and when they do, it's going to drop rates even a little bit further. So if we're already at 6 and an 8, let's just call it, and we get 10 or 15 basis points out of that, we're selling 5.99s and 5.875 all day long. That's where you're going to see the buyers come back to the market.
Yes, we need to be in the 5s. You need to be in the 5s.
Okay, that was as quick as I could get them.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Did you all have any questions for us? I know it's a lot of data and probably eyes glossed over, although Brian does this all the time, so y'all are used to it. Y'all get it. By the way, that's amazing that you do that because we literally do this for 5 or 6 different offices every month and nobody talks about this stuff. That's part of the reason we come.
Way to go, Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
Well, we kind of have the like only geek broker.
Yeah. Wait, is that good?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's very good.
I completely forgot I brought copies of that for you. Does anybody need it? Anybody want it?
I'll
Okay.
take that.
And
So what you're saying is March, right? January. Okay, so we should all go on vacation
In February.
in February.
I don't know, Brian might
Take your
disagree
mental
with that.
break in February.
So-
We should do that.
No, let's not go that far. You know, and honestly, here's our expectation is we think probably into the first week, beginning the second week of January, get a little bounce up. That probably continues through about the end of January. Then we see everybody chill a little bit in February because think about it, y'all are listing agents as well. So when your seller comes to you and says, hey, I want to list my home on January 31st or February 15th, you're going to say, yeah, I'll explain. I think the buying season kicks off the first part of March. Why would you want to put it on and gain days on market? Now, let's chill for a month, right? So February, we kind of take some time off.
Depends on the listing though.
It does, and so, and there's always people who need to sell it, and there's always hot listings.
Yeah,
against it,
I mean, it
right?
could be.
And the
Well,
buyers
because
that are out
it's on
during
the
that time
market.
are usually serious
They
buyers.
are, and that's a great point. So then you come back in March, and everybody goes on, and we kind of click off. That's what we see, but you hit the nail on the head. So like right now, we're slow on new phone calls. Very slow. But the new phone calls we're getting are very high quality. They are easily approved. Most of them come with a house in mind they already want to go make an offer on, and they are motivated and don't care about your trades. They're ready to go. So I
That's
wouldn't
good
take
news.
January off, and I'd take February off. I think the
How long
last
are we
week, the
ever-
week after Christmas is a great time to disappear. Let's put it that way. That's when I'll be gone to, so. But, all right.
Thank you.
Jason, thank you so much, sir. That was great, great
Appreciate you letting
information.
us come in. Thank you very much.
Thank you for breakfast again. Let's take a look. Jill, Jamie actually came in. We'll go say hi.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Have a good morning.
Okay, so we're gonna hit the headlines and then we're gonna get into small steps in a couple minutes. Jimmy had an announcement he wanted to make and I'll,
Hey, Lauren.
Jimmy? Take your announcement. Okay, so before you take off, let me just say one quick thing. I know you gotta go. So this is about the Christmas party. So I'm going to be emailing or texting each one of you individually, or you can scan this. We need everybody to respond, either yes or no, I'm going to be at the Christmas party. Okay? No, off of this link.
Oh, off of that.
Off of this link, this scan me, everybody needs to respond off of that link or that bit link right there, that.
I'll send it to Danielle.
So what I've got a spreadsheet built and everybody I will need a response from. If you don't respond through this, then I'll be emailing or texting you and asking you to respond. No is fine. I just need to know.
Oh, I thought I did this.
Hold on. Mine does not go. This is for the 6th Christmas party, the one with us.
The one at Joe T. Garcia's. This is, that is for Joe T. Garcia's.
Close the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I got it to work.
Give me glare.
I'm good.
Okay.
Yes.
Jimmy, go ahead and do your
Oh,
announcement.
yeah. So, hey, good news. We got keys to the Mansfield office. So that's exciting. As of like today. So, I'm going to email you guys. It's like we can just go there whenever. But I'm going to email you. I was going to see what you guys' schedule is like tomorrow. Go check it out.
I'll be free after 1.
Yeah. So, anyways, we might just all like go separately too. I mean, just whenever you
I
can
can
go.
go anytime.
Yeah. But yeah, so we might just do that, and then just talk about like, decorating and stuff like that. And so once we get the office up and running, we're gonna do like a huge meeting out there and everybody come out there and just, check it out. That'll be exciting, but that's good. I got the keys. You can start doing whatever we want to, right? She's like, you just go do whatever, whenever, I don't care. Just start painting some first. I'm like, all right.
Thank you, Jimmy.
So that's good. Yeah, maybe you guys have
Okay.
Okay, so next week, we've got the Durham team and pillar to post inspections coming for breakfast. I thank you all for coming at 9:45-ish, most of you. And next week, we're gonna be doing, the next in the series, which is lead capture and FAST follow-up. And I will explain all that next week. It's I like it. I think it's cool. No meetings on the 26th, which is Thanksgiving week. So the office will be closed that week. We're also closed the last 2 weeks of the year. So we're not meeting here Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. Sorry, we're not gonna do it. So those 3 weeks, we will be off, just so y'all know. And don't forget about the 6th Ave, extravaganza, which is the 6th, 11 to 1, and more information coming.
Well, can we just, anybody in here that hasn't told us, are you going to be involved in any way?
Yeah, I am.
You are. Okay.
And if you have any small business that would like to be a vendor, that would be great.
Oh, I have one.
You do? Well, we've had really great response with sponsors.
Yeah.
Like Overly, it was actually a blessing. But we just need a couple of vendors to like shop stocking stuffers. Things
Okay, I'll talk
like
to
that.
you later.
I already did.
Very good. So more information coming from y'all. Perfect. Thank you.
Shopping or stocking stuffers?
Either one, but we try to kind of stick with like stocking stuffer type.
Yes,
Do we have a little something that we can send out to our clients yet?
We do.
I think it's in Slack.
For this?
For the
For the
extravaganza?
I'll
Just a
send it
little,
to you. We'll put it in
I want to do a
Slack.
text message
Yeah.
invite to my people.
Yeah, we have a save the date.
Okay.
Good.
Don't forget, Trek's new system rollout Realm is coming December the 2nd through the 10th. Almost everybody has done their license renewal for this year. Jimmy's working on his. He's one of the last two. So thank you.
Mine done.
Well, you did get it. I haven't got the license yet.
What?
They sometimes there's a new system. They put email on me, so I have to go look.
Hey, mine's done.
Yours is done?
Hazard, do we all go dark?
No.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm
but
done
the
with
new Realm system is what it's called. Real estate license management. It's gonna be a whole lot easier supposedly for us to do our licenses, renew them, not have to upload, like, the docs you have to upload. Everything's gonna be, it's gonna be new, but there's gonna be glitches, which is why I've been asking for this. Okay,
Are they gonna work on like our hours so that you don't sit there and go, wait, do I have enough? Do I not?
Yeah, so they have like a total.
It's a total and I have to call and go, I don't know.
yeah, well, I can look, if you ever have a question, just ask me, because I can look at your license and tell you anything.
Okay.
I can always tell you.
Good.
I can
That's what
always
I'm gonna
tell you.
do. 'Cause I was-
If you haven't gone back, so here's what I'm gonna do for small steps, and I'll tell you about this when we get to that part of the class today. Next week, I'm gonna be bringing, probably a piece of paper that has the dates from the first 6 weeks of the things that you should have added to your calendar. That way you have something visual that you can walk out of here with. It'll also be in Slack, it'll also be everywhere else. But I've already developed the rest of this series, and so I've got the 12 weeks of things that you need to be on your calendar, or that should be on your calendar. Not that you have to do them every week, but that they're there to remind you to do them. So next week I'll be bringing that, but if you haven't caught up 1 through 6, I would highly ask for you to do that, please. There's a lot of cool stuff in there, and there's actually a lot more coming in the next couple of weeks. If you have, Patty, I see her on Goodreads all the time. I update this like 3-4 times a week. There's always something new for you guys to see on Goodreads. Like this morning, I added in time management tips for the holiday season and the home buyers and sellers profile. That was brand new. Texas Quarterly Housing Report came out Monday, so that's up there. I just saw another picture of Jimmy everywhere.
They're
Just in the
everywhere.
little heads. They did 216 of them throughout the office.
I saw them.
We're gonna be fighting them for years.
Yeah.
Okay, special invitation from Ryan, Tasha's brother. He has invited all the 6 Ave agents to their holiday market, which is December the 3rd from 4 to 7. And that'll be at 101 Summit Avenue. Is that their office?
Yeah, it is. It's downtown, so we get to hang out here for a little while and go to that.
Well, no, this is the 3rd.
I know, on Wednesday.
Oh, is it?
So just in case you're,
Okay,
you know what I'm saying, in case you're coming for the meeting, don't forget, go by there for
there you go.
same town.
I want a really cool gift basket or something.
Yeah, and also they have vendors there for you to buy stuff, so it's shopping.
I did that too.
Shopping and drinking. And I bought like honey and. They had,
Oh,
no, they had that fur lady, the lady that takes the furs and recreates it. They had a bunch of cool vendors. So.
oh, cool.
Got
Okay, I'm gonna give you real quick, because we got a really good market update from Jason. So local market things to know, active listings are up 18% year over year, supply now about 4.6 months. Price stability, median home price held steady, but certain counties like Collin and Rockwall are seeing larger declines. One recent week, DFW had over 10,000 homes with price cuts in 1 week. Not uncommon. We've been watching the numbers. We've seen it every 2 weeks. We're seeing a little bit of a surge as the prices kind of drop. Market's shifting, but buyers are having a lot of leverage. That's what we need to know. Here's Carissa's view.
Wake up.
For your county, everybody likes to see what their county's doing. So we're still seeing that red or coral price decreases is still the biggest mover every week. Doesn't really hurt, but if you look at your county that you specifically work in, or one that you've got buyers, you can see what they're doing there. Wow. Rate watch, this is for this week. And, Jason was telling us last week we were at 5.89. This week we're at 6.05. That's 11 to 16 basis points. That's quite a bit of movement in a week, but it was to be expected with the rate drop last week. When the rate dropped, our rates went up because they had overcorrected. Not uncommon. The 6.33, I mean, think about it in real terms for your buyers, and this is in the easy takeaways. It's still a great time to buy. You've got plenty of choice. Are there a bunch of crap on the market? Absolutely. But there's still nice houses. Patty sold one with 12 offers,
11, yeah.
11 multiple offers in how many days? Day and a half. So there, it's micro markets as far as that, but it's all about the pricing. It's all about the pricing when you're going on the market. 3 ways easy to use this week's data. Reassure buyers, rates are reasonable, affordability is improving, buyer power is up. Motivate sellers, inventory is rising, buyers have more choices, so smart pricing and strong presentation matter more than ever. Mortgage demand is up 20% year over year. The Fed might like to cut again soon. Use this momentum to show you're in tune with the market. I don't know if the Fed's going to do that because with the government shutdown, they don't have enough data and they won't have time to compile it for them to cut it again. So we may be at the end of the cuts this year, be my feeling, but I love Jason's optimism for January. I feel the exact same way. I think 2026 is really going to be, it's going to be better than it has been this year. And just for you guys, we're already past where we were all of last year at 6th Ave. We've already closed as many houses as we closed all last year.
I was looking at your little running total and it wasn't all the way at 100%.
It's like,
Okay,
yeah,
that was just like a week.
well,
ago.
but that also doesn't take into account what Victoria and I can see on the back end of things that are pending for November. So we're already past where we were all of last year. Business tip. Successful people never stop learning. They constantly listen to podcasts and seminars, check into webinars, and mastermind with other successful people, including those outside their industry, and learn the more value you bring to each client you work with. According to National Online Real Estate Database, during the 4 weeks ending October the 26th, median monthly house payments saw their sharpest drop in almost a year, falling 1.4% annually. And with the election done yesterday, all of our homestead exemptions are going up to 140 from 100. So everybody's going to see more affordability because your homestead exemptions allow more savings going forward. It's not immediate. Everybody got their tax bills this week, did you not? Everybody got your bills, so you got to pay those taxes. But you don't do the half payment. If you pay it outside of your escrow, as long as you pay by the half of it by the end of November, you can pay the other half by the end of June. If you pay it outside of escrow,
That's cool.
if you're in escrow, if your buyers or your sellers, your owners have it in escrow where their mortgage bank pays it, then
They
it's
cannot,
locked.
yeah.
Right.
But if
But
they
if-
pay it outside,
Cash
if you pay
file or someone else.
If you're paying it individually, I don't have my,
That's Harris
taxes-
County or?
yes,
Do you,
So if you pay it by the
One
end of
of
November, you can pay half.
pay half. My bill is $5,600, so I'm gonna pay $2,800 by the end of November, and then I have to make another $2,800 payment until June.
do they, will they adjust that for any credits or anything like that for the second half, or is just being able to hold on to your money a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was not putting it in an escrow account and letting them collect the interest.
Yeah, yeah.
I put it in a high interest savings and I just let it build and I'm getting 4% every month.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
So that's the way that, just a little nitpick. Okay, so we're gonna start, let me stop the video here. Thank you, Ashley, for joining us online, by the way. Let me stop this one. If I can find my mouse. How many times have I said that in this class? Stop recording. Okay.